Hello. 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 Please speak, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Please unmute. Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay, sir.
Hi,
You are
you hear
audible,
me?
sir. Yeah,
Okay.
sir. You are audible, sir. Dear all, now session is start. Dear all, please mute your mics and don't share your screen during session. If any queries, please drop a message. Okay. Namaskar, sir, and good morning to Professor Ulrich Berk, sir. Good afternoon, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Registrar, sir, Director of different school, Additional Director, sir, HODs, faculties member, students, and all guests. I welcome you all on this virtual international webinar on the topic of effect of AGNIHOTRA on environment and farming. We have the honor and opportunity to hear Professor Ulrich Berk, who is a well-known authority on this subject. He is a German professor, scientist, and president, Association of German Homotherapy. Dr. Berk, sir, in Germany has vast experience in homotherapy. He has done extensive work since 1980s and has coordinated research on homotherapy in Eastern European countries like Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Yugoslavia, etc. And from last couple of years, also in India. He has association with different universities like Palampur Agriculture Universities, Kanpur Agriculture University, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, UT, Dharwad University, IIT Kharagpur, Ferguson College, Pune, Vivekanand University, Bangalore, North Maharashtra University, and in homotherapy and has demonstrated in many countries. He has written several research papers, articles, and review literature on homotherapy. I was surprised when I listened to Berk, sir, and that time he was demonstrating a Homa system at Lucknow. Homa is a traditional culture and different kinds of system are mentioned in different ancient religious books. Therefore, as an Indian, I developed a strong feeling and curiosity that one day I will invite and listen once again to Dr. Berk, sir. That moment has come. Professor Berk, sir, accepted my humble request, and I feel highly obliged that he agreed, and we will all soon hear his enlightening, his uh, his enlightening words. Talking about homotherapy, it is very heartening to observe that many personalities like Dr. Tej Pratap, Vice Chancellor of Palampur University, now he is the Vice Chancellor of Pantnagar Agriculture Universities, Dr. R.K. Pathak, Dr. R.C. Tiwari, Dr. Bruce Johnson, Dr. Please.
You mean me?
Yeah, sir. Professor Baksa, please take over.
Okay. First, I want to thank you, Dr. Tobe, and all the responsible persons of your university for the invitation I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk to all of you to Homa organic farming and the effect of AGNIHOTRA on the environment and agriculture. So can you please activate the screen sharing options? It's not possible now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm trying.
So while he tries, Dr. Chobe mentioned that he saw some presentation in Lucknow on Homa, and he remembered that was an old tradition in India, all the different Homas and Tavans, and that is correct. Actually, it is Vedic knowledge, so it is available since many thousands of years, actually as long as mankind exists. And but in last couple of centuries or even millenniums, this knowledge has been partly lost. So now it has been revived, and we have to go back to the original and exact method. It's not just some tradition you do. It is it is an exact science. Look at it.
Sir, screen share is unable. You can share your screen, sir.
Okay. Now I will start.
Hello, dear R, please mute your mics and don't share your screen during session.
Yeah. Okay. That is nice. I would appreciate if others don't talk while I'm talking. We can have discussion afterwards. But now let us start. So this presentation is on AGNIHOTRA, the environment, and Homa organic farming, and that is me. And you see the contact possibility. Once is the email address, dghd@homatherapy.de. Mine is a German spelling, and also the webpage. Now, the background. Now, everybody is aware of environmental pollution and the big problem. Of course, nowadays, the big problem also is COVID-19, but that has to do with environmental pollution also. I'll say a few words about that at the end. So, and more people realize that we are dependent on nature, and nature is not dependent on us. We could not do without Mother Earth, but Mother Earth could quite well do without us humans. In the moment, you might say Mother Earth even could do better without the humans. But we have to change that because we have mistreated nature too much for too long, and the consequences are getting more and more visible. Just look at one graphics, which is based on data from the World Health Organization showing the percentage of polluted-related deaths. And you see India, also Pakistan, Nepal, these countries are in the highest category of 20 to 27% of all deaths related to environmental pollution. I mean, every year, especially in winter, you hear about the air pollution in Delhi, but in all big cities, Delhi is the worst, it seems. So that is just one aspect of the pollution, which causes people to get sick and also to die. Now, this effect on humans, we have a similar effect on plants. We know that agrochemicals in farming, they have led to a severe pollution of atmosphere, water resources, and the soil. and just look at the soil health. According to data from the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organizations of the United Nations, they say that about 1/3 of the world's soil already has been degraded compared to 1960. And they say, unless new approaches are adopted, the global amount of arable and productive land per person in 2050 will be only 1/4 of the level in 1960. So that means that will not be enough to feed these people. What happens to plants? Air pollution damages leaves, and that makes plants more vulnerable to pests and diseases. Also, photosynthesis is reduced, and therefore growth is reduced, and yield goes down by 5 to 20%, according to recent studies. That means we have to stop this conventional agrochemical farming. So organic farming seems to be the only way out. But there is the apprehension that when we move from conventional agriculture to organic farming, there will be a drop in yield. And that is correct if you just continue the same type of farming, only leave aside the chemicals. Then you will have a drop in yield. But with homo-organic farming, there will be no drop in yield, and yields are even higher than with conventional farming. This you can see from this table. That was a study done at Harvard University. Actually, it was 4 MSc theses done on that subject. And they studied soybeans, cabbage, tomatoes, and okra, and compared different types of farming, also the conventional farming, agrochemical farming, with homo-organic farming. And you see the yield increasing in all the different crops they examined. The yield with homo was higher than with conventional farming. Up to 172 or 100, even 180%. But also the lowest case it was 13% more, 28% more, 26%, and so on. So now, homo-organic farming, what is this method which increases yields, reduces pests and diseases, and even improves the health of the farmers? How does it work, and why is it so beneficial for growth of plants? The basic tool of homo-organic farming is AGNIHOTRA. That's a simplifier done in a copper pyramid according to the biorhythm of sunrise and sunset. It comes from Vedic knowledge. Here you see, and AGNIHOTRA, it is the smallest and basic fire tuned to the biorhythm of sunrise, sunset. Here you see what you need. It is a copper pyramid of fixed size and shape. That's very important. You can't get it on the market. What you find on the market may look similar, but it's not the same. It's not exact. Doesn't work. So the ingredients which you burn are dried cow dung. It has to be pure cow dung, not mixed with buffalo or any other dung. Pure cow's ghee, again pure, not mixed with anything. Then some unbroken, unpolished grains of rice. 2 Sanskrit mantras, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. Sanskrit mantras are exact vibration. And a timetable of exact sunrise and sunset, exact to the second. Why is this timing so important, and why do we utter these mantras? In ancient knowledge, there's a description of sunrise which says, at sunrise, the many fires, electricities, ethers, and more subtle energies emanate all the way from the sun to the earth and produce a flood effect at that point. And this flood of energies has a subtle music in it, and the quintessential sound of that music is the mantras which we utter at that time. Interesting is that an American astrophysicist, he shared this slide showing very similar. He says that million ampere currents head in toward the Earth at sunrise and out at sunset again. So he confirms the traditional knowledge about the very high energies happening at this time of sunrise and sunset. And that explains that we have to be exact with the timing, and also why these mantras, because the mantras are an exact vibration. So how to do it, AGNIHOTRA? You start a couple of minutes before the exact time of sunrise, sunset. Then you take a few grains of unbroken rice, akshat, and in your left hand or in some copper dish, apply a few drops of ghee, and then prepare 2 portions. And then you utter the first mantra, and after swaha, you add the first portion of rice to the fire, and then the second mantra, and after swaha again. So in the morning, it would be Suryaya swaha, Suryaya idam namama, Prajapataye swaha, Prajapataye idam namama. And in the evening at sunset, Agnaye swaha, Agnaye idam namama, Prajapataye swaha, Prajapataye idam namama. Even children of 5 or 6 years can easily learn these mantras above the pyramid. And life energy, prana energy, which sits above the atmosphere, comes down through this channel. And then an aura energy field is created around all plants nearby. This is why plants get nutrition, they get disease resistance stronger. When the flame dies, this energy comes and is collected in the AGNIHOTRA ash. This is why the AGNIHOTRA ash can be used as medicine for humans, but also for plants, and it's a very highly nutritional substance. Now, how does AGNIHOTRA work? First, it purifies our environment, atmosphere, water resources, and soil, and thus brings all nature back to harmony. Because by all the pollution what we have done, we have disturbed the harmony of nature. Let us see the different aspects. First, atmosphere. One thing is very important. In agricultural science, normally not much stress is laid on atmosphere. Mostly it is about soil analysis, water analysis, not so much about atmosphere. But the ancient science of homotherapy states that more than 75% of nutrition to plants and soil comes through the atmosphere. By the way, also biodynamic farming says the same thing. So, if you make the atmosphere more nutritious and fragrant by Homa, there will be a type of protective coating on plants, and diseases, fungi, pests, and so on do not thrive. Plants' capacity to breathe increase, and the toxic effect of choking to death due to atmospheric toxins is eliminated. When we talk about pollution of the atmosphere, we have 3 different types of pollution. One is biological pollution, that is mainly through bacteria, viruses, and so on. Second is chemical pollution, mainly NOx, SOx, but many others also. And third is physical pollution, that's mainly particulate matter. So first, let us look at biological pollution. You see here, that's a very simple experiment. You can easily perform that in your lab also. You take a petri dish with some tissue and some nutrients. You open the petri dish for say 10 minutes before AGNIHOTRA, then you close it and you send it for incubation. Then you do the same thing after AGNIHOTRA. Also open the petri dish for 10 minutes, then close close it, send for incubation, and after 1 day you will see the result. The result which you see here is left side, that was done before AGNIHOTRA, right side was done after AGNIHOTRA. And you see a clear, very big reduction in bacterial growth, bacterial load in the air. There were many such studies done. One was done at the Agricultural University in Palampur, Himachal Pradesh, and that also was published. You can check the article here. Now let us look at chemical and physical air pollution. Chemical air pollution, as I said, mainly is SOx and NOx. These are the worst pollutants. There are many others also. Let's concentrate on them. And there was 2 years ago, and we measured SOx, NOx, and also particulate matter before AGNIHOTRA, and then also during AGNIHOTRA, and then right after and 12 hours later. And you see during AGNIHOTRA, there's a little reduction. Then these values go up a little bit because there's some smoke in the air, because this AGNIHOTRA fire creates a little bit of smoke. But important is then after that, in the long run, there's a reduction of approximately 30 to 40% in all the different parameters. So it's okay, maybe because we did that experiment in the evening, maybe during the night automatically, the particles will settle down and so on. So we did the same experiment also in the morning, started before AGNIHOTRA, measured before AGNIHOTRA, then measured after AGNIHOTRA again. And it was the same thing, the same reduction of approximately 30 to 40% in all the different parameters. So that shows AGNIHOTRA reduces pollution of the atmosphere, biological pollution, chemical pollution, and physical pollution. One aspect is that negative ions in the air are an indicator of fresh air. More negative ions, fresher the air. Polluted air has much, much less negative ions. So I did that experiment long time back, more than 30 years back in Germany. And when I came to this engineer who had set up the equipment to measure negative ions, he asked me, okay, when you perform this AGNIHOTRA, will there be some smoke? I said, yeah, there will be some smoke. And then he said, oh, then we don't even have to do the test because any smoke will reduce the concentration of negative ions. And in order to show that, he took his cigarette, blew the smoke of the cigarette into the direction of the instrument, and yes, it went down. And I said, okay, still, let's try. I performed AGNIHOTRA. There was some smoke, but the count of negative ions went up. He was very much surprised. He said that's normally not possible. So that smoke is different from any other smoke. That is also, you can ask any asthmatic person, they can't stand any smoke. But with AGNIHOTRA smoke, it's different. They even feel that it's soothing. And the negative ions in the air may explain some of the other effects. It may explain the reduction in the bacterial load, for example. It may explain also that there are less viral load in the air. Now, let's look at the second aspect, water resources. There was one experiment done in Pune some time ago, and they took water from a very much polluted river, a column of AGNIHOTRA ash, and measured the quality of the water again. And you see all the parameters of water quality were much improved, especially the bacterial count it was reduced by 93 to 98%, depending on the method they measured. Another experiment was done in some time back. There was some industrial effluent from a textile industry, and it was quite poisonous, even by diluting this water, 15% effluent, 85% fresh water. Still, biotic life was not possible. But if you added just half a gram of AGNIHOTRA ash to this mixture, means 15% effluent, 85% fresh water, 0.5% AGNIHOTRA ash, then biotic life was possible. And if you had a higher concentration of the effluent, then you had to add more of AGNIHOTRA ash. And also the COD came down by more than half if you just added 0.5 gram of AGNIHOTRA ash to this effluent. One interesting observation was from Australia. On some farm, they put down a bore well, and because it's a very, very dry area and water is very scarce, so that was important. And they found water, and they were very happy about that. But they tested the water, and the water was highly alkaline, and salinity also was very high, 1150 parts per million. Now, what to do? They just performed AGNIHOTRA next to the bore well and added AGNIHOTRA ash once a week to the bore well. And what they found out, after 6 months, the pH came down from 9.5 to 7.2, and salinity came down from 1150 to 720. Now that water was in the range of drinking water quality which World Health Organization has put. Effects on the soil. First, let us remember how important. There was a Sanskrit text written more than 3,500 years ago, and that said, upon this handful of soil, our survival depends. Husband it, and it will grow our food, our fuel, and our shelter, and surround us with beauty. Abuse it, and the soil will collapse and die, taking humanity with it. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the FAO already said that now 1/3 of the world soil has already been degraded. And unless we go to some new approaches, the global amount of arable land per person will only be 1/4 of the level in 1960, not enough to feed all these people. So we have to go for some alternative way. What can we do to improve soil health? The soil needs to be reduced this formula NPK. So phosphorus is one of the necessary essential nutrients for plants. And phosphorus normally there's enough in the soil, but it is there in not water-soluble form. And only the water-soluble parts of phosphorus can be utilized by the plants. So what they did in this experiment more than 30 years ago in US, they checked the water-soluble phosphorus in soil, then added AGNIHOTRA ash, and there was an increase of more than 2 times, 3 times by adding this AGNIHOTRA ash to the soil. So the question around, and this experiment was repeated in Germany not so long ago, and they had the same result. Water-soluble phosphorus increased by adding AGNIHOTRA ash. That was also published. Now, the question is, how come? How does that work? And the hypothesis was that there are some phosphorus-solubilizing bacteria, and by adding AGNIHOTRA ash, either these bacteria increase in numbers or their activity increases. And this hypothesis has recently been confirmed. There was a study done in Ratnagiri, the place of the good mangoes in India. And what they did is they checked the soil for different types of bacteria and then added AGNIHOTRA ash to the soil 1% and checked again. And they found out that nitrogen-fixing bacteria increased 100 times. And phosphorus-solubilizing bacteria even 1,000 times more. And that's really a lot. And at the same time, fungal flora CSIR, Central Institute of Subtropical Horticulture in Lucknow. And they checked the growth of different fungus, pathogenic fungus, and with AGNIHOTRA ash, and there was no growth. And the control, there was quite some growth. Now they did the same thing with beneficial microbes, and you see with AGNIHOTRA ash, these beneficial microbes all grow much better. One more interesting study was done in Unnao area. Unnao is between Kanpur and Lucknow. At some KVK, they had an area with very much sodic soil. So they divided that area in 3 plots. One plot was for agrochemical farming, one for organic farming with vermicompost, one organic farming, vermicompost plus AGNIHOTRA ash. And after the season, they tested the soil again. Before, the soil was had a pH of 9.86, very alkaline, very sodic. With agrochemicals, that was the same. But organic with vermicompost, it came down to 9.06. That's already quite some good result just in one season. But organic with AGNIHOTRA ash, the pH came down to 7.67. That's more than 2 points reduction in just one season. And that is a very promising result. Also, potash and phosphorus were more abundant in this plot with AGNIHOTRA ash. Now you could say, you perform AGNIHOTRA, you add AGNIHOTRA ash, soil pH comes down. But no. We had one farm in Poland with very acidic soil, pH was 4.4. And they had a government agricultural engineer came to visit and checked the situation, and he said, no, nothing will grow in that soil. Still, these people did their farming. They performed AGNIHOTRA, added AGNIHOTRA ash to the soil, and you see what they're growing. They're growing everything, all the vegetables, including tomatoes, which nobody in that area can grow. So, and later on, they got the pH tested again, and the pH was 7.2. Now, this is quite an interesting and important finding, because in India alone, we have approximately 7 million hectares of sodic and saline soil. And and 2.5 million hectares alone in the Ganga plains of India. And then we have more than 6 million hectares of strongly acidic soil. Strongly acidic means pH is less than 4.5, like we had in Poland, there it was 4.4. And this acidic soil is mainly in Arunachal Pradesh. So if all these lands could be reclaimed and made productive again, that would help a lot to increase agricultural production and feed a still growing number of people. So why not start a small project on either acidic or sodic soil or both? The investment for such an experiment is manageable, but the possible gain is huge, considering all the areas, all the millions of hectares which could be made productive again. So that would be a suggestion for a small research project. Now, we have seen AGNIHOTRA reduces pollution of the environment, of air, soil, water resources, thus brings back nature into harmony. And of course, that has an effect on plants. We can directly check the effect on plants. The most simple experiment is a germination test. You just take, for example, Petri dishes or any other dish, put some tissue and then the seeds, and then you water with tap water, number one. Then you water with AGNIHOTRA ash water, number three. But we know any ash has nutrients. So if you take any ash, even you from a wood stove, you take the ash, add it to your irrigation water, plants will grow better, germination will be increased. So in order to be exact, to be scientific, we do not compare tap water with AGNIHOTRA ash water, but we also prepare some ash, which I call control ash. It's done by burning the same substances, dried cowder, some ghee, some rice, also in some copper vessel, because copper can have some catalytic properties for the combustion process. But we don't do it at time of sunrise, sunset. We don't utter any mantras, and we do not use the pyramid shape of the vessel. We use some other shape of vessel. That's control ash. And you see, there is, yes, just tap water has the least growth, but there's also a big difference between AGNIHOTRA ash and control ash. So there is something more in AGNIHOTRA than just burning these. Now that experiment was with the ashes, and here you see some experiment also with germination, where in one room you performed AGNIHOTRA and you had the seeds germinating, and the other room you did not have AGNIHOTRA, but otherwise same situation. And you see both shoot length and root length much increased with AGNIHOTRA. By the way, that experiment does not show the full result. It would be even better because they did it one room AGNIHOTRA, next room no AGNIHOTRA, but the effects of AGNIHOTRA go through the wall. There is next room, there's still some effect, not the same like in the room where you perform AGNIHOTRA, but there's still some effect. So there should be a longer distance between this experiment and control. Now, some examples I want to show where AGNIHOTRA was used on farms. And that first example, that is from South America, from Peru. and the mango farm was nearly dead after some natural catastrophe because of the El Nino climatic disaster. And then after 3 years, still the farm situation was critical and the production was nearly nothing. But then after they performed AGNIHOTRA and some other Homa techniques, the yield was going up, and the quality also was very good, so they could get good prices. This was an example from India. And here on this photo, you see in the middle our friend Dr. Pathak from Lucknow. And sitting down, it is Karin Heschel from Austria. And that was done, that was on a farm, on a mango farm, also in Unnao district. And they had wonderful production. They had no diseases or no pests, and they won a number of prizes for the excellent quality of their mangoes and for the good production. And that was so exceptional. At the beginning, the farmer, he had been principal in that village earlier. When he started Homa farming, the neighbors, they were laughing at him and he said, oh, now this guy is singing mantras to his plants. Ridiculous. Okay. They were laughing for one season, but when they saw the result, they were no longer laughing. And then they wanted to learn the method also. So we went there several times to install resonance system, which is some advanced technique of Homa organic farming. And on this farm, it was the first farm where this was installed. This was an example of tomato in of a farm in Rajasthan, district Jaipur. And they had some tomato fruit borer, and they could not control it with chemicals. They had to spray chemicals again and again, but still it didn't really work. So then our friend went there, and after 3 months of treatment with homotherapy, this borer were totally wiped out. And then next season, when they planted again, no more sign of these pests. And also the yield was double than in other farms, neighboring farms, where they used all the agrochemicals. That is an interesting example from a farm near Belgaum, Karnataka. This farmer used Homa methods since several years, and he mainly grew sugarcane. And 1 year, he had an infection of woolly aphid. He was very much surprised because normally with Homa therapy, all these pests were controlled automatically. So he was inquiring, and then he found out that the ghee which was used at the farm was impure. It was bought from the market, and there was some buffalo ghee mixed with it. So, of course, if you don't perform AGNIHOTRA properly, if you don't do the method correctly, you don't get the results. So immediately he went and got his own pure cow ghee. And interesting is that immediately natural predators came, which took care of this woolly aphid. And then no longer this problem was there. And also in the following years, it never came back. He made sure to have his own pure ghee. So he bought some cows. So now this problem cannot come again. And the same farmer, he grew vanilla for some time, and the vanillin content of his vanilla was 36% by weight. Normally you get, if you are lucky, 25 to 28% by weight. So the institute, the lab which tested the vanillin content, they thought, oh, they must have made a mistake when they got this result. So they did the test again, but same result. So they were very much surprised. It means that also the quality of the produce is better in Homer atmosphere. And that is very important because now we often have a deficit in nutrients in our food, even if we have enough food. One important point for farming is the honeybees. More than 100 crops are pollinated by the bees, and the reduction in bee population, which is happening worldwide, is a big problem. But in Homer atmosphere, bees are happy. They do their work of pollination, and nature comes back to harmony. I want to share some results of scientific experiments done in different places. For example, in UTI, which is the Horticulture Research Institute of the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University in Coimbatore. So in the UTI Institute, they compared yield and quality of different flowers, rose, carnation, and cabbage, potato. They did 3 different tests. One is organic farming. Second is organic farming with AGNIHOTRA, and then conventional, and then absolute control, meaning no treatment at all. And the result is, with AGNIHOTRA, they got higher yields and increased disease resistance. For example, this is about roses, and you see weight, stalk length, flower diameter, number of flowers per year, organic with AGNIHOTRA. At the Agricultural University in Palampur, they compared AGNIHOTRA ash with other organic fertilizers, and they did that while examining the production of lemongrass and Tagetes minuta, and they found out quantity increased, the oil content increased, and also the disease resistance was higher. Then there were a series of controlled experiments at Harvard University. I already mentioned them at the beginning. It was a series of 4 Master of Science theses. And they compared Homer farming on horticulture crops like tomatoes, cabbage, soybeans, and okra, and compared all the different aspects, mainly yield, pests and diseases, and the quality nutrient content. Yield, I already showed that slide, increased in all the 4 crops, increased a lot. Then AGNIHOTRA also controlled pests and diseases. For example, with tomatoes, there was a decrease in incidence of leaf spot by 37% and insect attacks 40% less. In cabbage, there was a decrease in black rot 29 to 55%, black spot of leaf, heart borer, head borer, number of diamond black moth larvae per plant, and Sopodoptera litura larvae per plant, 40 to 62% less. Soybeans decreased in rust and insect attacks. Okra decreased in powdery mildew, fruit borer. So you see that the yield went up and diseases and pests were controlled. Now, what about the nutrient content of plants? That's a very important issue because in recent decades, the nutrient content of our food has gone down. Also, Ayurvedic doctors have told me that the medical potency of the plants which they use for their medicines is declining because of pollution. So we have to do something. One example I already showed in homotherapy, in the oil content of vanillin, the vanillin content, the oil content of vanilla increased a lot. This again is taken from this MSc thesis from Harvard University. They also controlled the nutrient content and see there was in soybeans 5% increase in protein content, 9.5 increase in oil content, higher enzymes, cabbage, the Brix value went up by 39%, vitamin C increased by 11%, free phenols, important because of the antioxidant effects, were increased by 18%, protein content increased by 16%, nitrogen content increased by 19%, and so on. Tomatoes, same picture. Okra also. There's a tremendous increase in nutrient content of the plants if you go for homo-organic farming. And that's very important because on the nutrition, on the healthy nutrition, our own health depends, especially the strength of our immune system, which is very important, especially nowadays. Effects of homo-organic farming on biodiversity. There's one thing that was shocking news last year. They did a study in Germany, and they found out that within 25 years, there was a reduction in insect population of sea kelp. I want to just show you two examples. One, that was an observation done at the Narmada River in the area between Omkareshwar and Bhavani. That's close to Indore. And they checked the quantity of invertebrates, and you see the columns, it's just added up all the different types of invertebrates. And you see at the left side, these two columns are of research stations upstream, and at the right side, the results of research stations downstream. And in the middle, it is the result of our homotherapy Goshala, the homotherapy center in Maheshwar. And you see, close to this homotherapy center, the number of invertebrates is much, much, much higher than upstream than downstream. Similar test was done for butterflies, and again, the same picture, much more butterflies at the homotherapy Goshala. And here you see a picture of all the different kinds of butterflies in the gardens of this homotherapy place. Before I mentioned the resonance point system, in farming, in order to work for a larger area, you don't have to do, if you have a larger area for one garden of say 500 or 1,000 square meters, just AGNIHOTRA is enough. But if you have a farm of say 10 hectares, you can't have 100 people performing AGNIHOTRA in that area. So there's one technique called resonance technique where you perform one AGNIHOTRA in the middle. You see in the middle this AGNIHOTRA heart. Then you have resonance pyramids sitting north, south, east, and west. And in these pyramids, normally no fire is being performed, but they are activated once at the beginning of the whole system. Then you have another hut, which can be at the borders of the place, so called Triambakam fire. And that's it. With this resonance technique, you can cover an area up to 80 hectares, 200 acres. And in India, most farms are not so large. You have many small farms with just a couple of acres. So several farmers could join hands and create one resonance system with their adjoining lands. And in this way, just help each other, because only one person has to perform AGNIHOTRA, and that could help with the other fires, and so on and so on. Also expensive would be less. And with this technique, rural development can be achieved starting from village level, and then in this way also we could guarantee global food security. Now, one last remark, because nowadays everybody is somehow suffering from COVID-19. Some people actually got it and may have some health problems, but all of us are somehow restricted. For example, normally I would be in India right now. Normally I had a ticket for 15th of October, but I could not go. And our movements are restricted. Many conferences are not possible, so everything is online. So we are all somehow affected. How can AGNIHOTRA help with this COVID-19? It can help in 3 different ways. First, it helps reducing the probability of getting infected. That's very simple. We know that the virus in the air, that this COVID virus mainly spreads through aerosols in the air. Okay, and we have seen that AGNIHOTRA reduces particulate matter, means aerosols in the air. So less aerosols means less risk of getting infected. Second thing is AGNIHOTRA heals pre-existing conditions and thus leads to a less severe cause of COVID-19. And number 3 is AGNIHOTRA supports the body's immune system, and the immune system is the main thing for a person to fight the virus infection. About the pre-existing conditions, main problems are heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, diabetes, cancer, and immune system deficiency. And most people who have died from COVID-19 had one or more of these pre-existing conditions. AGNIHOTRA can help with all of them. And in this case, it makes us stronger and makes it more possible for us to defeat that disease if we have caught it. But again, the probability not to get it is also higher. Okay, here are my contact data, the email address, some useful websites, homatherapy.de, homahealth.com, homatherapyindia.com, and homatherapy.org. And that's it. Thanks a lot for listening.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You mentioned in your lecture mostly Indian problem like Delhi pollution problem and Indian soil and water, etc. and clearly differentiate between cigarette smoke and Agnihotra smoke. And also present several data regarding plant protection, plant yields, reclamation of soil pH by the use of Agnihotra. This lecture was very interesting, valuable, and memorable. If anyone have question, please ask question. Our session is open for you all. If anyone have question, please ask question. Our session is open for you all. Please unmute your mic and ask question.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's from Mohammed University. I just want to know from the sir that for the starting in the farming of the potatoes, what the type of soil should be added?
Dr. Berk sir, Professor Berk sir.
I didn't get the question, sorry.
Sorry, ma'am. I did not get your Kushbu, ma'am. Please, pardon
Actually,
you.
sir, excuse me, sir. I just want to say that I am learning. I am in a learning scale for start. I just grow my potatoes in a pot. I don't know this type of a ashes. I just give them to grow my plants earlier. So I learned from the sir that which type of a ashes we should put in my pot to grow my potatoes as plants as well. For the
Yeah, you can add some Agnihotra, and that will help the germination of seeds. So plants will grow faster and better, yes.
okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone? Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Abhay, please unmute to. Okay, ma'am. Please ask. Okay, ma'am. Please ask. Hello. You can write your question in your message box also.
Is there any YouTube video which gives the material which can help anyone to perform the Homa or Agnihotra, where the materials which are required and the mantras which are there, so that it becomes easier for people to do it at larger numbers?
Okay, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Berk, sir.
Yes, we have such videos. I wrote my email address in
Yeah.
Okay. So if best you write me an email and then I will send you the link.
All right.
Thank you. The link to some videos. These videos are available, and it's a good question because Agnihotra is a simple process, but it has to be done exactly. So it's good to really see a video and not just try and do something, because then you will not get the correct results. Yeah.
Okay.
So please send me an email, and I will send a link to some YouTube videos.
Okay. I'll do
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Shukla, sir, please send your email ID in the message box. Next, anyone? Anyone? Anyone have question? Please ask.
I just see one question. I just see one question of Sukanta Kumar Pati. Does AGNIHOTRA help in getting better yield? Yes, it does. And I showed some slides showing the results. These were results of controlled experiments, tomatoes, okra, and so on. We got better results, higher yield with homotherapy techniques, yes.
Okay. If anyone have question, please write a message in the message box, or you can ask question directly. Okay, sir. I have a strong wish to invite Dr. Bruce Johnson, and already mentioned that Dr. Karim, along with you, Professor Berk, sir, to join us on a common platform for the benefit of us all in near future.
Okay.
Okay, sir. When will you join the Pantnagar Agriculture Universities? Then sure, I will invite, and you will drop. I will connect you. Next, now I would like to invite Dr. Viren sir, Director of School Agriculture Sciences and Engineering. Please give the vote of thanks and say a few words.
Hello. Heal the atmosphere, and the atmosphere will heal you. With these words, I would like to extend a very warm good evening to all of you. Honorable Chancellor Sir, Sri Rajiv Kutiwalji, Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor M.P. Pandey, Registrar Sir, Sri Sanjeev Agrawalji, Directors of different schools, dignitaries, HODs, faculty members, our guest of honor and key speaker, Professor Berk. On behalf of the School of Agricultural Sciences and Engineering, IFEM University, myself, Dr. Viren Singh, extend a very heartfelt thanks to the key speaker, Professor Berk. Thank you, sir, for delivering an outstanding content on a very interesting aspect of farming, which has its origin in most ancient Vedic sciences. We look forward for future contact with you. I believe this lecture was beneficial for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting virtually with us during this pandemic in a very short notice. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Honorable Chancellor Sir, Vice Chancellor Sir, Registrar Sir, and Director Training and Placement for their kind support and encouragement during the organizing of this program. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Convener Dr. Chove and the technical team for their hard work in organizing the event. I must thank everyone present here for their interest session. Thank you.
Okay, again.
Okay, sir. Namaskar. And thank you very much, sir. Sir,
Okay.
but there is my request. Dr. Bruce Johnson and Dr. Karim, along with you, join us on the same platform.
Hello.
Okay.
Sure, we can do that.
Dear our participants,
Thank you very much, sir.
1 minute, sir. The feedback form will be sent.
My request. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, Khushbu ma'am.
Sir, I think there is a feedback form, but we are not filling any feedback form. What we do?
There is three common questions. Means like that I mentioned in three questions in feedback. I will send you. In future, first is that the topic was interesting, yes or no. And the second question is that in future would you like such a webinar? Are you satisfied with the arrangement of this type of question was mentioned in your feedback?
Sir, I am saying that I am not getting any feedback link.
Okay,
Kindly
ma'am.
provide
No,
me the
I
feedback
will send
link.
you. Yes. Okay, ma'am. After the completion of the webinar, I will send you. Don't worry, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Please keep it. Okay. Anyone? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So the webinar is over.
Okay, thanks again. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Namaskar, sir. See you. Thank you.
Ciao.